September the 5th, 2024. Guys, this is the latest update from the National Hurricane Center down in Miami. It was at 7:54 a.m. this morning, Eastern Time. Now, we've got 5 systems that's watching. This one has a 20% chance of development. They don't know if it's going to go right or left or just spin around in a circle. There's not much chance of development out there. Here, this one has a 10% chance of development in 7 days. It says by early next week, environmental conditions could become more conducive for slow development while the system moves northwestward over the southwestern Atlantic Ocean. You can see the direction. It could develop, but we got this cold front setting up, so we'll just have to see. Now, this one's visible on the satellite, so we'll take a look at it, but it is also headed north. Now, you may have to watch for it in the very top center of this map, just in case. And it's saying this non-tropical area of low pressure located a few hundred miles east of North Carolina is producing disorganized showers and thunderstorms to the northeast and east of its center. It could become subtropical, they're saying, and just head out here, but it's got a very good rotation. And it didn't look like earlier today when I had time to sit down for a second and look at it that it was moving north yet. It almost looks like it was stationary to very slight west, but I think it's going to move out of here. Now, this system that it never will be named, but I'm going to call it Tropical System Blessing. Now, I know some of you guys are in that area tired of the rain, but it's been such a blessing compared to this time last year. I was looking at going back to the last September. It was unbearable. We were in the upper 90s to 100s. Now we're in the 80s, guys. And if you look at and we'll go ahead and do that. I'll look at a couple of the different cities around the U.S. and look at what we're seeing, a very rapid onset of a fall, and maybe 6 weeks or so ahead of time. But I'm not going to complain right now. Like I said the other night, though, guys, prepare for a colder winter just in case. And think about things now like backup heat. Now, we don't sell wood burner heaters, but they're lifesaver. You can get them from around $300 at places like maybe Home Depot. I know that we have a Sutherland's here in Mississippi. They carry them, and a lot of times they're about the cheapest, but you may find another one. It's just a 2-burner, kind of antique looking. It's long, and you can have it has 2 burners on it. You can cook on it, or you can heat your house. The whole, anything you need heat for, you can do on that thing. And we've seen power go out before. Our grid is getting a little it's getting in worse shape year after year without money being put in, especially the last 3.5 years of any kind of rebuild into the infrastructure systems. But this has a 10% chance of cyclone formation in 7 days. A trough of low pressure is producing widespread, disorganized showers and thunderstorms across the northwestern Gulf of Mexico. Islands have been there, guys, over a week now, I think. Upper level winds are expected to become less conducive for development by Friday and Saturday as a frontal boundary approaches the system. Although development is unlikely, heavy rainfall is expected across portions of the northern Gulf Coast during the next day or so. And when we look at the satellite, you can see it's widespread. We are under a cloud cover now. There may be some sprinkles involved here, but bulk of the rain is just below our state in the across the Mississippi River into Louisiana there. Now, the storms in the Caribbean, we've watched it for quite a while. It was at one time a 50% chance of development before this front suddenly caught all the meteorologists, including myself, off guard. Now, I'm not a meteorologist by any means. I just watched it for many, many years. I've been involved in many of them, and I know what to look for. But there, in some of the reports, they're talking about the front coming in, and the meteorologists are kind of baffled. I understand why. And it looks very chaotic when you look at this picture here. So they were caught off guard. The models are not working out, and the seasons are changing rapidly. I think it's got something to do with the rotation of our planet and the possible tilt we talked about before back during the early summer. Anyway, this has a 30% chance of development. Northwest Caribbean Sea and southwestern Gulf of Mexico shower and thunderstorm activity has increased slightly in association with the westward moving tropical wave located over the western Caribbean Sea. Significant development appears unlikely before the system reaches Belize and the Yucatan Peninsula by early Friday. That's tomorrow. And they're saying that some development is possible late in the weekend into early next week after the system emerges over the southwestern Gulf of Mexico. Now, we'll see about that. It may stir up some more rains, but the models do show it coming back ashore into Mexico. So you guys down there, be aware of this, and all around the Rio Grande Valley areas. Just a quick look at the U.S., guys. Again, southern Canada and northern Mexico. This is the system that's off North Carolina right there. And you can see it's got a rotating. I'll speed it up just a minute, and you can see it a little clearer there. And it's only strong on the western side, and that's because, see this front that's moving over is trying to bring some rain in. And actually, it's this front is pushing everything that way, but it's part of what I'm calling tropical system blessing. Thank you very much, Father. And let me ask you guys this while we're here and talking about that. How many, if you didn't pray for it, did you just think to yourself, oh Lord, please don't let it be as hot this year as it was last year? How many prayers went up? I know I did, probably 100 of them. Because the older you get, the worse it affects you, and it's harder to keep everything cool enough to where your transformers aren't blowing up down at the substations and things like that. It was pretty reckless. And the storms were very violent compared to this year. We've had some, but last year were pretty rough. But again, right now we're overcast. Let me turn around so I can see my weather meter. Hold on just a moment. Can you believe it's 82 degrees? 82 degrees. We were well over, very close to 100 last year this time. And the heat indices were more than that. Now, the heat index is 94, which is very pleasant with this overcast. Not bad at all. You'll get a little sweaty if you work outside or have to mow the grass or anything like that, but this is nothing. And guys, just look off the coast of Georgia here. You got a system, and that more than likely some of this moisture could wrap around the system we're seeing here. Again, it's starting, compared to this morning, that you can see now there is getting a northeast drift, but it's staying kind of dry on this side because of that front coming across. And think about it, it's a double blessing that this season's going to be cooler, and the storm off in the Gulf has really contributed to that because the temperatures outside of it and not under its umbrella have been much higher than what we've seen here. And again, watch the winter. But these wood-burning stoves, things like that, guys, look into it now. You may can find some used ones, but those have been kind of getting scarce lately with the way the economy's going. Now, I noticed that there's a lot less smoke around the fires in Idaho, guys. Somebody come in and let us know what's going on with that. Are the planes coming in, dampening it down, or what's going on? Just keep us updated. Now, here off Galveston, if you look at the Galveston beach cams, you can see it's very overcast and stormy. The seas are up just slightly, nothing big, but you can definitely tell it's not a calm day on the beach. And this is moving up through Louisiana. We're overcast. Look at North Mississippi. You may get some of this. You may already be getting sprinkles. And it's kind of all over the southeast. And I doubt there's very many people in this area that are complaining, if you just think back a year. But now I've had some comments from people up north. Oh, BP, don't pray for an early winter. And all I can tell you is get some firewood and move south, because I get told in the middle of the summer sometimes, BP, you need to move north. So I'm going to give you the same advice back. But anyway, guys, be prepared for that. I'm letting you know early. Everyone's being caught off guard for this early change. And let's just, again, you can see where the rain is here and the right side of the storm that's off the North Carolina coast. You're going to get some rain along the Great Lakes too. Any rain is good. Fall can be very dry sometimes, so it may be good. I'm just hoping for you guys and pray that you get rain in these needed areas. So Mexico, you're starting to see some of this drift your way. More than likely, this is where the second storm that's in the Caribbean is going to end up. We'll take a look at that Caribbean Sea while we're here. This view lets us look all the way over to the African coast. They're still building up storms, but you can see how the fronts are moving here. I don't know if we're going to get a possible storm in. The temperatures are still warm over the ocean, and there is a possibility of that. But when it starts to cool down a little bit, it really knocks those chances down. But we're not through. Remember, we're not over hurricane season until November the 30th. But this is a very good sign that we may not have any more destruction from those. It's good to have the rain, but not the destruction, guys. It's really bad. Every year the population grows in different places, and more people are affected by them. And, maybe when things are rebuilt, people will rethink that. You see the houses washing off of North Carolina coast up there. I don't know. I guess that's Nags Head in that area, washing into the sea from the big, and they were on the big stilts as the storms just move off the coast, not really coming in. And it does appear the system that's about to come over the Yucatan, guys, that's in the Caribbean Sea, has wrapped up a few more clouds. So you may get pretty good rain showers and some winds, but then the land itself will diffuse some of it. We'll just have to see what happens when it gets in here, but pretty much straight line on the models from here out. Now, this is the AccuWeather update that's live. This is from the capital city of our state up north from us here. 83. Tonight, some rain from tropical rainstorm, low 71. Man, compared to last year. And I want to click on the monthly chart for last year at this time, and we'll look at the one that's current and see the difference. Now, let's stay in Jackson and go back 1 year. Notice September 2023. The 5th, 95 is the high. Now we're talking about 83 or so today. And when you see coming out of August into September, look at this, 92s, 95, 97s. The heat indices those days were out of sight, guys, with the bright sun and the high humidity here. I was recording, I think the highest one as far as the heat index was 141 on one of those days when everything was going wrong. And it just stayed like that. Look, 98 down here, nothing below 90. I think that's as low as so far until we get here. We're starting to get an 89 here, 95, 95. We drop down into the 80s, back into the 90s, 86 here, back into the 90s. Miserable days, very hot. The summer was like it was never going to quit. Now, let's go back to today's date on September 5th, 2024. Now let's go back to today, September 2024. On the 5th, here we are, 83s. Now, after yesterday it was warm. The last few days were warm. But look at this, 77 tomorrow, 85. You go down through here, you're seeing 90 on the day it's getting warm enough to bring us some rain, 87, 88. Here's a 95 on the 18th. Let's see if there's any more. No more 90s. Look at this, 80. Look at the nighttime temperature, 60, 61, 63. Now, we are 2 hours from the Gulf of Mexico where I'm sitting right now, guys. So it's very warm and humid place here most of the time. But just for instance, let's just go ahead and go into October. And this will tell you, if these models are correct, that summer's over. The hot part, look at this, 29th, 80s, 85 is one day. Here's an 86 and 85. We're in October, remember. 70s, there's an 82. Look at that, guys. Amazing. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, blessing. Thank you for putting that shower in the Gulf of Mexico, and thank you for it still being there, Father, because I was really concerned, guys, that I was going to have problems this summer. You know, we've got 9 Huskies, a lab, and our white lab. And, of course, they're staying air conditioned, and they can go into their air conditioned room from off the deck, or they can come in through the house. It's up to them. They really can, if they want to get in trouble, they can run through there if their feet are muddy with Tina. But other than that, this is their home too. That's just the way we feel about it. Anyway, it's a blessing to us. I'm so happy. I don't know what to say. But let's take a look, say, at Pensacola. They're about 3.5 hours from us, but they are on the coast. And let's see what they've got. Now, first thing, rip current statement. Pensacola, you see this? 82 degrees. Wow. But the beach, that it's coming from that system. It's coming from Tropical System Blessing. That's my new name. I'm going to refer to it for many years, hoping we have one every year. Anyway, 82 now. Let's look at your month going out. We'll look at September and October. I've got a lot of friends in this area. Guys, I know for a fact I've had my sailboat down there for a long time until Hurricane Michael took it. And so I know how hot it gets down there. We were down there in Perdido Bay at Southwind Marina, guys, next to the Pensacola Naval Air Station. We got to watch the Blue Angels fly sometimes twice a week over our heads and out there in the cove. You know where I'm talking about. But again, look at this. Today the 5th, Pensacola, 83. Look at the 70s. Are you going to find a 90? Let's see. No more 90s. Just look into October. And the reason I'm doing it, guys, this is an extremely early fall. Now, coming out of August, 101, this is last year, 93, 89, 95, 90s. These are high 90s, and I'm telling you, the heat indices are outrageous if you got that Gulf moisture on top of you in these temperatures. These bright, sunny days. We're getting down here. Last year, you were starting to see the 89, 80s, back into the 90s. And getting into the last week of October, guys, you're in good shape. 190 and a 92. And there's a 92 and a 90 couple right there. See that? Just very nice. Nighttime temperatures. When they stay very high at night, it never cools off the next day. It just gets hotter and hotter. We saw a lot of that last year, too. And I tell you what we'll do. Let's look at Dallas, Texas. Now, Dallas is not the worst traffic on the planet, but it's close. And it's just 5 or 6 lanes, and we go through there when we head over to Arizona to see our grandkids. And I wish there was another way around it, because you can 5 lanes, and there's people drag racing, speed car racing, doing 80, 90, 95 miles an hour through there. It still takes you an hour or two to get through that city. But other than that, I love Texas. I was born there. 82 now. Real feel 92. Check that out. You got a little bit of rain coming up your way, just a little spotty. There's Tyler, Texas, right there. Let's just go back to the monthly. Now, you're not as overcast as we are today, Dallas, but you're still 90 with 73 tonight on the 5th. And then 91, 89, looking good. There's a couple of 92s just like we're seeing. A 90. Guys, it's here. What can I say? And will we have a mild fall? It looks like it, but we are definitely getting into it very quickly. And just about anywhere you guys are, you can go to AccuWeather and check your monthly thing and check last year, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. And you really don't have to be told, but I wasn't leaving anybody out. I was just looking at some of the hot spots we had last year. But if I were you guys in Tampa and down into Miami and through that area, both East Coast and West Coast, take a look at your monthly AccuWeather chart and then compare it with last year. It's interesting to see it. Now, they're still saying that several tropical threats lurk in the Atlantic amid this historic lull. Historic lull. That's why I'm doing this. Despite the lengthy and historical lull in tropical activity over the Atlantic basin that lasted through Labor Day, there's still multiple features AccuWeather meteorologists are monitoring now and in the days ahead. And we kind of went over the systems here, but they're saying in the orange, it's a medium chance of development September the 8th through the 20th. And then September 7th through the 10th, it's a low chance. September 7th through the 9th, a medium chance. Nothing's a high chance. You see that? 12th through the 10th in here. I think we're about done with it. We may see one sneak through there, and if we do, we'll deal with it. We're watching it. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe.